today, PR, it's all about PR. And today, my guest is going to show you tips and tricks on how to pitch to the press. Try and say that 3 times fast. Margot Black is an amazing PR person. She runs her own company, Black Ink PR. She's the writer of books. They're hysterical. And she's here today, and you've seen her in another course, which blew everybody's mind. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Margot Black. So,
hi, everybody.
Thanks for coming back. And also, people just love that offer you gave them, where they were able to download lists of PR and newspapers and radio, and
yes,
that was very generous.
Thank you so much. But that offer is we create the list custom for them. So for $5.99, it's 5 hours of list building, and it's a half-hour consultation with you. We do the list building in our office, but then we deliver between 100 and 1,000 media contacts for you, depending upon what your topic is. And it's really very helpful. It'll save you months of research.
So let's say we have that list, and thank you for that generous offer, and you could just download it right there below this video and the message of you. So tell me, now I have this list. What do I give them? How do I pitch to the press?
Okay, well, the way you pitch to the press, I can answer that question in one word, and it's via email. So nobody wants to be pitched on the phone. Nobody will pick up the phone. They'll be pissed at you if they answer the phone, even if you do find a phone number. And you write to them in email. And then under all circumstances, not write to them again and say, did you get my email?
Now, in this email, do I make it like fancy? Do I make it HTML email with like it all stylized columns?
We make it very simple. They get thousands a day, very simple and to the point. Dear Judy, I've been watching your show, Judy's Brilliant World, and I really think I have something special for your audience. I am able to show you how to be the funniest working woman in America, and I can do it in 5 easy steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. If you'd like me to have you on your show, I have these assets, and I'm available whenever you want. I think we'd be a great match, and I hope you think so too. Sincerely, the funniest woman, Margot Black. Like that. That's how quick and brief you are.
And here's the thing. If you're watching this and you missed how to make the media love you, you really need to see that to see exactly what you need in that pitch. So let's move on to your tips and tricks in pitching to the media.
So my favorite technique, like if I ever get a client that can do this right away, I'm like, woo, I'm so excited. It's like a PR bullseye. And that technique is called bust a myth. And it sounds like this. So for years, doctors have said that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. My client, nutritionist and doctor Judy Carter, is going to show us how that's not true. And in fact, apples have been conducive to help make people sicker. Update and details at 6 p.m. Now, if you can bust a myth, I'm telling you, you have seen this on every newscast. You see it at 6 o'clock, you see it at 10 o'clock, you see it at 11 o'clock, and you see it all the time on the morning news shows. So if you have something that you can bust, you will get some pretty good ink.
And we can also use one of your other techniques, which was quote somebody. So you can quote somebody and then go, totally not true. And I have the evidence to prove that.
Yes, absolutely. And so here's something like, for instance, for you, Judy, you're a comedian, and you could say, think funerals are no laughing matter. Think again. Doctors show that funerals and death are actually some of life's funniest moments. And we checked, professional comedy writer Judy Carter checked over 1,000 people and went to psychology to do research, and studies show that death is actually quite a funny, laughing matter. Details when we return.
That is so smart. So it's like to say, like, hey, I'm funny. Put me on TV. This
right.
is
No. No.
Bust a myth.
Bust a myth,
Right.
baby. Next one that's equally as good and really strong as a technique and can win you some press is to relate it to the front page of the news. Okay, so that would sound like this. The world is falling apart and Donald Trump is a big bozo. But it turns out there's a lot of people get very, very depressed watching the news. However, comedy writer Judy Carter will show you that she can turn tragedy into comedy and that you should too. Details at 4.
So associate something you do with something that is in the news that's on people's minds because they're looking for a new angle, right?
Right. And so,
boom.
right. And also, so there's a lot of fire right now in Southern California. So people are very nervous about their fire situation and their insurance. And studies show that children start 20% of the fires. So child therapist Judy Carter is going to show you what to say to your children to make sure they understand the power of fire. We'll have details at 6.
I love this. I love how I can have 1 degree, no puns intended, 1 degree from anything happening in the news. And you can take what you do and what you're an expert on, whether it's a comedy or motivation or whatever it is, and link it to the news. And that's the way they're going to open the email. Is this put in the subject of the email?
Yes. You got to get it in the subject line. My next tip is to provide a solution. If you provide a solution to a common problem that an audience of that media outlet has, and you can speak about it eloquently and it's different and new, the producer will be interested. This would sound like, for instance, let's say we're doing Good Morning America and it's back to school time. Let's say it's September. And I happen to be a nutritionist, or we'll say Judy Carter is a nutritionist. Okay, so you have trouble organizing your family when it's time to get 3 kids out the door in 30 seconds or less. Well, nutritionist Judy Carter has a very simple, family-friendly solution how to get meals done and preserved so all eat healthy in 5 simple steps. We'll have details when we return.
So you really watch the news or you watch the lead into these magazine style shows and you just duplicate it, right? And you put it right in this email.
Yes, but you have to make sure that you're providing something new. Okay, you cannot be copycat. You will not get booked. They need it new. Dear Judy Carter, my name is Margot Black. I'm one of the top nutritionists. You can see I won these 4 awards, and I have a new solution for women who have tried every diet in America. My solution involves pineapple, coffee, and disco. I hope you'd like to hear more.
That sounds like that would work for me.
There you
I'm
go.
eating a pineapple. Okay. All right. That's great. And so what's our next tip?
My next tip when you're pitching is make a complex situation easy to understand. And that would be, many women do the taxes for their family, but many women don't understand the basic tax law. CPA Judy Carter will be on to tell you the 10 tips you really need to understand about the legalities of preparing your family's taxes. We'll be back with details at 8.
Oh, that's great. So that's something that's like even date specific.
Yes.
So, it's like around, I would imagine, besides you gave us the tip of something on the front page, but maybe something also along Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
Flag Day.
Yes. Whatever it is. But the basic premise for winning with this strategy is take something complex and make it simple. Okay? I'm doing this right now with you, actually. I'm giving you 5 simple steps to get more press. I'm breaking down something enormous into steps in ways, and I'm telling it to you so you can recognize the patterns, and I'm simplifying something that is seemingly very complex so you can digest it.
So when I actually do the publicity for this very conversation, I could set it up by going, it's very confusing. How do some people get on TV? How do they do it? Do you have to have, do you have to cough up a lot of money? Can you do it yourself? Well, yes, you can. And here are 5 simple steps. Okay, that's great.
Okay, and here's my last one for you. You ready for my last tip?
Go to it.
All right, this is a very powerful one, and many people can't handle it, but it would get you some pretty good press if you can equip yourself. You got to listen to everything else that I said on all the other tips and include everything into this one. And this tip is called be a contrarian. Be a contrarian. So in every newscast, if you watch CNN or, you watch whatever you're watching, and they have 2 or 3 or 4 talking heads, there's usually one voice that's a contrarian. Not the most popular voice, but you have to have one contrary opinion. So as an example, 3 times in the press, I wound up speaking, I couldn't even believe this, I got the first gig through a friend, and I wound up speaking as a contrarian on gender neutral toys. Now, this was right around the holiday season, and I had a book, again, shameless plug for my book, Where's My Award? How to Get Baby Barf Out of a Red Carpet and Other Tales from a Working Mom in Hollywood. Buy it. A subliminal message from Margot Black. Okay.
Shameless self-promotion.
But when I was promoting my book, it was Christmas time, and somebody said, would you come on and talk about how you don't like gender neutral toys? And I knew what this producer needed. And what they needed was somebody to have the opposite opinion. And remember, like I just told you, to speak in sound bites. So I said, oh, sure, I'll do that. And one of my sound bites was, you give my son a truck, he'll give you a hug. You give my son a doll, he'll give it to the dog.
That's great. And I love how you're using your own advice and repeating the words just like we did in the other.
Right. So somebody needs a contrarian in the news. You need to be qualified, but you need to have a very eloquent and clear opinion. If you watch Real Time with Bill Maher, you will see there's always a contrarian on that panel. It's part of good journalism. If you want to be the contrarian, it's not easy. You'll take a lot of fire. You'll have a lot of flack. You might not be popular, but it's a very needed position in the press. So that's my last tip. Be a contrarian.
Well, these are fantastic tips. And, getting media to love you and pitching doesn't have to be such a secret. Let's sum up what Margot's done. And I want you listening to this to know that you don't have to use all 5 of these. You don't have to use any of them. But if one of them appeals to you, use it. Because first of all, you want to approach the press in an email, a simple email. And you can, in that email, when you pitch yourself, you can bust a myth. You can relate it to something going on in the news now, something happening on the front page. You can provide a solution. You make that solution simple, easy to understand, and you can pitch yourself as a contrarian. Thank you so much, Margot. This is great, and I know I'm getting your your PR list. It's just a fantastic deal. It's right below there on the message of you. Click on it. And Margot, thank you again for being a part of the message of you.
My pleasure. Thank you, audience. Lovely to meet you. Have a great day. Go forth with good publicity.